Greetings, friends of the Great Advent Movement, and welcome to the Present Truth Studies Bible channel. I'm your host, Brother Eric, and today we're going to be discussing a very important topic, one that a lot of Adventists are confused about, is what is the present truth for today? Not in the past, but today. Now, this is relevant because there's a lot of controversies in the church, discussions about religious liberty and censorship and so forth. So we really need to be looking for Bible answers to know where's the present truth and what is it today. So please join me. Come on in. We're going to do a short PowerPoint and address what it is and what's not and where we can go look and find it. So come on in. Let's go. So our thumbnail is asking the question, who has the present truth now? Well, if you ask Adventists, you're going to get different opinions. They will usually choose one man or another, their favorite idol, if you will. We've got Stephen Bohr on the left, Elder Conrad Vine in the middle, and over on the right, Walter Veith. Now, depending on who you talk to, but even these men aren't all agreed on things. But what about the danger of trusting in the arm of flesh? Is it possible, but none of them have the present truth? Well, we really need to find out right now what is the present truth. So let's define that. That's really the purpose here, is what is present truth, so we know what we're looking for. So that's the key question. What is the present truth? You ask a typical Adventist, you're likely to get several different answers depending on whatever ministry they're following at the present time. It's very popular to promote some ministry or individual and claim that they have the present truth. But do they really? I mean, stop and think for a second. Analyze this. What is the present truth? Just because somebody claims it doesn't mean that they necessarily have it. How can we know when God's unrolling the scroll, so to speak, and providing his church with meat due season? This is a term, it comes out of Matthew chapter 24. Meat due season is a timely message at the right time. So this is synonymous with present truth. So that's what we want to find is, well, what's this meat that the flock needs now? So here's a prayer thought, important one from the writings of Ellen White, early writings, page 63. You see this term. Let's read it. It says, I saw the necessity of the messengers, especially watching and checking all fanaticism wherever they might see it rise. Satan is pressing in on every side, and unless we watch for him and have our eyes open to his devices and snares, and have on the whole armor of God, the fiery darts of the wicked will hit us. There are many precious truths contained in the Word of God, but it is present truth that the flock needs now. I've seen the danger of the messengers running off from the important points of present truth to dwell upon subjects that are not calculated to unite the flock or sanctify the soul. Satan will here take every possible advantage to injure the cause. Now, in the context, Ellen White was talking about the fanaticism that was entering the early Advent movement, starting in the late 1840s and 1850s. And certainly that was a problem, but let's apply it to the current context. Are there people in our midst running off with dwelling upon subjects that are not calculated to unite the flock? For example, anti-Trinitarianism, 2520, feast keepers. You get the idea. Yeah, we have a problem of these efforts that really by the devil, Satan, to create divisions and controversy. So we need to be united on the platform of truth, and it's this present truth, not the truth from the past, but truth that is applicable today to deal with the controversies in the church. And believe me, there are many, as you all know. New subscribers, we welcome you, but yes, the controversy over the church leadership's apostasy, on the COVID crisis, censorship, religious liberty, and many other things. So we want to go looking for the present truth. Well, here's another statement from inspiration. It's the truth that's appropriate for the time, this time, the time we're living now, today. Here's a reference from 1888 materials, page 930, paragraph 2. It says, "We're in the church militant, not the church triumphant. There must be deeper, much deeper spirituality in those who are handling sacred things. There is great danger in self-confidence, in trusting in human wisdom, and not leaning heavily and thoroughly upon God. Whoever tries to secure peace by withholding and not vindicating the present truth, appropriate for this time, will get a peace which will pass into the slumber of death." Now, in the context, she's talking about the opposition, the period of time when Jones and Wagner brought a most precious message in 1888, and for the most part, it was rejected by most of the leaders in the church body by 1890. And this resulted in the church going into a 40-year wilderness wandering. Do you know about that? It's crucial because it was predicted this message would come back, and it did in 1930. Do you know about that? So we want to avoid this danger of self-confidence, leading men standing up, telling people, not to leave the flock and not to challenge leaders. I mean, look at the example of Elder Mark Finley doing a cover for the apostasy of Elder Ted Wilson and the church leaders in the COVID crisis. So we cannot trust in human wisdom, but we have to lean thoroughly and heavily upon God. And we need the truth that's appropriate for now. So let's keep this simple. What was present truth in the past? Okay, we need to illustrate by example so we can understand what we should be looking for today. Well, the preaching of the flood in Noah's days, that was present truth in that time. Now, it is an essential truth of the Bible, and there's lessons to learn from that. So it's not that it's no longer relevant, but it's just not present truth. Or how about the preaching of the gospel in Christ's day? I mean, that's the fundamental foundation of the New Testament. But it's not present truth. It's still relevant and applicable to basic gospel. How about the message of righteousness by faith is brought in by Martin Luther at the beginning of the Reformation? That's essential truth. But we're not living in the 1500s. Okay? How about the Sabbath seal? That was first brought in and clarified by 1845 when Rachel Oates introduced the doctrine of the 7-day Sabbath. It was accepted by James and Ellen White, brought into the church. That was the truth at that time. That was the present truth in 1845. It's essential truth today, but it's not a present truth in 2024. Or the three angels' message in their first proclamation, the period from 1831, beginning with William Miller, the first angel's message, up until 1847, and Joseph Bates published the tract, the Bible Sabbath, the Perpetual Sign, connecting the third angel's message with the Sabbath and warning against the mark of the beast, Sunday worship. So that was the first proclamation. Do you realize that the three angels' message is going to be repeated? Babylon is fallen. Early Writings 277 says it's going to come back. So that's a clue where the present truth is. Not the three angels' message as we first understood them when they were unrolled, but the second proclamation when they're joined with the angel of Revelation 18 to give it power and force. Did you know that? These are the type of things that we should be looking for. How about the 1888 message? Essential message, but it's not present truth today. Okay, it was an important message, and it came back after 40 years of wilderness wandering in 1930. So what happened in 1930? Think about these things. So what are some key features of the present truth for today? It must have the following characteristics. It will describe the details of the judgment, not for the dead, but for the living, in connection with the sealing of the 144,000. Do you realize that the 144,000 are the ones that are going to complete the work? They'll emerge from the church militant and become church triumphant, and they will be the ones that will be filled with the power of the second Pentecost and proclaim the loud cry. Did you know these things? You should. This is present truth. It will also give us the requirements to prepare for the loud cry. Now, we just did a video on that. You can check a link in the description box below. But this idea that Adventists are giving Pentecost now is like crazy. So understanding what it is to be one of the, Ellen White tells us to strive to be one of the number of the 144,000. So we need to get prepared to give the loud cry and realize the work that God's going to do in behalf of the church to save it from its indecent worldly associations and become vessels of honor in a purified church. How about unlocking the prophecies long held in secret until God's appointed time to reveal them for the benefit of his chosen? For example, these are controversies in the Adventist church that are unsolved. How about the king of the north, king of the south in Daniel 11, verses 40 to 45? No consensus. We did a video recently talking about Walter Weiss' position. Basically got it from Lewis Weir, but that's uninspired. It's not biblical. So who's going to explain that? Or the daily in Daniel chapter 8. That's how you expose the faulty theology of Desmond Ford. Got a video on that recently. Or the seven trumpets and other doctrines. So the Adventist church does not have all the oil to make it to the pearly gates. We should be looking for the extra oil for the wise virgins. That's present truth. Or explaining what and how God is going to save his church from its indecent worldly associations. Well, look at the situation in the church today. We've got a major crisis, probably unprecedented, over this issue about the church leaders' association with the world to support the COVID mandates and the jabs and failing to support religious conscience of Seventh-day Adventists that didn't want the jab. Okay, then the issue about where to return tithes, where's the storehouse, all these questions are roiling around the Adventist world. Where are the answers? Okay, we need a biblical answer. So, what are present truth studies? Well, here's some illustrations just to give you an example. How about this chart over on the left? Zechariah chapter 6. The church to and back from the wilderness. Now you go to Adventist commentaries. This is verses 1 to 8 in Zechariah 6, the infamous horses and chariots. You go to Adventist commentary, nothing. Back in 2014, they had a Sabbath school quarterly called Major Lessons from the Minor Prophets. When they got to Zechariah 6, they skipped it. They had zero, nothing to say. So friends, why is this in the Bible? Well, there's a lot of symbolic understanding here. 2 brass mountains, horses and chariots, different colors of horses. What's this all mean? Well, it's a lesson directly applicable to the Seventh-day Adventist Church right now today. So if you're not familiar with this, we invite you to contact us at the end of this video. We have a contact information where you can request a tract to read about this. Or how about the chart on the right, the sealing of the 144,000? The first fruits of the harvest. And they in turn will gather a second fruits, a great multitude from Revelation 7:9, from all the fallen churches of the world. Do you know about this? This is the type of things that are not being taught from Adventist pulpits or in the Sabbath School Quarterly or even on YouTube channels from other Adventist commentators. You won't find it. So we're inviting you, come, let's check this out. Or a couple more. There's lots of studies here. But how about the 7 seals or 7 trumpets? Lots of visual symbolism. But who's going to explain it? Ellen White even said, reading the 4th and 5th chapters of Revelation will be very important for God's people. Study these things. But she herself never explained them. It clearly suggests somebody's going to come in the spirit power of Elijah after her to explain these, because the secret things belong to God, but those secrets which are revealed belong to his servants, the prophets. There has to be another prophet. Now check the link in the description box below. We make the case 7 reasons why Seventh-day Adventists need another prophet. Ellen White didn't have all the answers. She's truly a prophet of God, but she pointed somebody to come, spirit power Elijah. Did you know that? And they're the ones to unveil this. These illustrations are the proof. Do you know what they mean? Can you explain the trumpets? So friends, that's just a wake-up call to agitate minds that would otherwise sleep in slumber, that there's more truth to come, and it's the present truth that the flock needs now. Well, What's the purpose? Okay, this is the source. Now people are going to hear this and they're going to run, oh no, it's false message, false prophet. Do they even know what they're talking about? This is from the book Shepherd's Rod, Volume 2, first published in 1932, page 9. Let's read it. It said, this book is not published to explain or comment on truths which have been previously revealed and accepted as such, but is to disclose realities which God has preserved through many generations, not only from becoming extinct, but also preventing their meaning from being discovered by men of wisdom. Hint, hint, the theologians and the learned doctors and so forth. Thus, he who controls the Scriptures is able to reveal present truth to his people at a time when needed. Therefore, though such truths are originally prophetic, they become new and stand as a direct letter from God to men at the time revealed. Thus saith God the Lord, behold, the former things are come to pass, and new things I do declare. Before they spring forth, I will tell you of them. Isaiah 42, verses 5 and 9. Hence, it will prove the contents of this publication new, interesting, instructive, inspiring, and converting. The message it bears, being taught by symbols and types illustrated on charts, becomes simple, and all who are searching for truth with the intention to fit themselves for the heavenly garner can easily comprehend it. So some of those charts I just showed you come out from this volume. Would you like to know what thus saith the Lord? Despise not prophesying. Prove all things. Hold fast to that which is good. So if you're interested, for more information, you can contact us with further questions or comments. You can make comments below in this video. Keep them polite and relevant. If you'd like to request an outline of this study, print copy of the tract literature that explains the details in Zechariah 6, the sealing 144,000, and other topics, how to understand the present truth for today. If you haven't looked, you need to. Or to arrange for a formal Bible study at your convenience. We can arrange a Zoom call or whatever. Feel free to contact us anytime. Here's the email, phone, text, or contact us through WhatsApp. For those of you brethren in Africa, there's the number, or you can visit one of our websites, shepherds-rod-speaks.org. So we hope you found this enlightening. We appreciate your time. May God richly bless your search for truth as for hidden treasure, and to cease ye from all men whose breath are in their nostrils. Till we see you again, Godspeed.